Hello.
We're back sooner than we said.
Hi.
We haven't really planned out this one very well, but we got some nudges, so we're going to try it. Where do we begin?
So where do we begin? So how does it work? We get, yeah, take it away.
Sorry, I understand. Okay, so how we're doing this is I do have written channelings of people that I worked with 5 or 6 years ago, sometimes 4 years ago, but also I've kind of put the call out there for whoever wants to come through to talk about different topics, and then I wait to see if I get a sign, and so, or a nudge of some sort, and so I got quite a few nudges from Ms. Fisher, and that's why we knew to do that one. And then today, I got some more nudges. So we are trying to debate how to do this because we have the written channeling from this particular person from like 5 years ago. And then we realized we shouldn't pigeonhole them into that topic because maybe they have other things they want to talk about. So I have a channeling for
we're gonna
your
let
case,
them.
but
We're gonna let them do their
we're gonna
thing,
see if we can just.
and then we're gonna see if you guys can guess. So you can comment at the end to see if you know who we're talking about. You want to do that or no?
No.
No? Okay.
We could give some hints.
You could. But full disclaimer, I think we should mention, and I think you said something earlier when we were talking, is that when we mention that we're talking to certain people, that doesn't mean it's exclusive. It means other people do too. So if you hear it from other
Yes.
people, it doesn't mean it's not valid. It just means, it's a message that comes across many different channels.
I was going to do a separate video about that because there are many, many, many mediums that channel celebrities, and I think it's meant to be that way. So this is a fairly common thing, but there's a reason for it because there are a lot of really good, powerful messages that come through the people who chose to be famous only in this life. I will say there's a whole thing around that too. They're not better than us. They don't know more than us, but they have some very unique paths. By choosing what they've chosen in this life, on a soul level I'm talking about. And because of that, they generally have had a lot of really hard lessons, and then they get to the other side and they have some really amazing perspectives. So that's why there are a lot of celebrity channels out there. So yes, I'm glad you said that because I'm not by far not the only one.
It's like watching a rerun of your favorite TV show on a different station. That's all it is.
And the messages are probably really varied per, like I'm sure they have lots of different topics they want to talk about. So what I've talked about with mine, they probably have many other things with other people. So anyway, I'm glad you said that. And I will do a video more on the culture of celebrity because I think that's a really important topic too. So I've learned a lot from talking to my friends on the other side. Okay, so today our guest star has nudged me a few times, but very subtly because he has very gentle energy. He's a very quiet, shy person, and he's very unobtrusive. I really like his energy. He's an introvert, but really, really sweet energy, really good energy. So very quietly, he's nudged me a few times today. So,
Just say it.
I think we should.
Just
Yeah,
say
we should
it.
say we just.
It's a build up.
All right. So we have Luke Perry is who I've been feeling around today.
Dylan, in case you guys don't know, Dylan.
Right, from now to now, and that's actually what this whole channeling was about. It was about identity and getting pigeonholed into certain identities on a bigger picture level, which he actually obviously lived by being thought of as Dylan his entire life, and I think that was really rough on him as he got older,
Typecast,
because he is not that person at all.
You
That
can't
character.
be a teenager your whole life, right?
But also, really, the character of Dylan was very opposite of his true personality, which I wrote about when I channeled him. He's nothing like that character. He was nothing like that character in real life, and so I think that was really hard to be thought of as a tough, badass street guy, as he called himself, and he was like, that just was so not me in any way at all. But that's all the industry saw him as, that's all the public saw him as, and so a lot of this was about identity. So I guess we'll open and see if he wants to continue on that, or something else.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different types.
So, yeah, I should also explain that when this is a very disorganized video. I should also explain that when I'm staring off to the side or the table or off like this, that is me doing my medium thing and trying to see what comes through. And I can't look at him because I get distracted. I can't look at you guys because I get distracted. I have to really kind of have a blank space to stare at. So often I realize in the other video I was way over here just staring over here. That helps me really bring stuff through. So I'm not trying to be weird. I'm taking a moment to see what might be coming through, and I really kind of have to stare off here.
So she's doing that. You might notice my hair is a little puffy today. Vanessa mentioned that, and it's because I had to take a midday shower because we got stuck in the rain earlier this afternoon. So I had to take a shower. I was dripping wet, and with my hair, if I don't put product in it, it is puffy. But my day's over.
Well,
There's no point of putting anything in here right now. I'm not going back outside.
This ties very lovely into this, which his topic was "Don't judge a book by its cover."
Yes.
So maybe that's what we're talking about today.
Vanity?
No. It's not just about physical appearance, but that was a lovely segue into, I think, where we're going, which really is about personal identity on all levels. So how you see yourself, how the world sees you, how you want to present yourself. It might be different than how you actually see yourself. There's many different layers, I think, to identity, and I think he was really good at talking about this because he did get shoved really hard into one very concrete identity, and he had such a hard time breaking out of that after, and it brought him a lot of success. And I think he was he was very humble and grateful when I channeled this last time. But he was a kid, and the more he grew, the older he grew, and he's trying to get other jobs, he just couldn't get out of this very concrete box. And
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, how many of us really know his other work? I mean, there was some good stuff. I liked him in that 8-second movie where he's riding the horse or the bull.
It's a bull.
The bull for 8 seconds. Yes,
that.
I liked that, but I think it always comes down to Dylan, right? The James Dean heartthrob.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone has always seen him on, which I'm sure that takes a toll on anybody. You know, like you're only seen as one thing and nothing else, and then you feel like you have to keep living that persona, or else you're not loved anymore.
And I think that's what his main point last time, and what I'm feeling again, is human beings are ridiculously complex, and we're layered souls and beings. And so to be boxed into one identity, either by yourself or by others, because I think we can box ourselves into identities too, and that's a whole thing. But to get trapped and stuck and not allow yourself to grow and evolve, this is what he's saying now. There's nothing wrong with picking personas and identities. We all do it. We have many layers, many different maybe identities with different people, different relationships, different situations, and that's okay. It's like putting on different masks or different, presenting yourself through different lenses. You know, as long as you're tuned into your core authentic identity, it's fun to kind of have different ways of interacting in the world. But if you lock yourself in because you think you should be that way, or others have put you there and you feel trapped, there's absolutely no room for growth and evolution and maturing and evolving as a person and a soul. So that's really what he's passionate about talking about, because it kind of shuts down your growth process if you get stuck. Yes, Mr. Ringo?
So let me ask you this. If, let's say, I feel like there's two groups here. There's that group that doesn't realize that, I think essentially what we're trying to say is they're pigeonholing themselves into one identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that group, and then the group, and this is my question for this specific group, is that they're aware of it, but they feel like they're stuck in it, and so they have to just be it. What would you say to that group to help them realize that's not the case? Or what would LP do?
Interestingly, what is coming up is the Know Thyself from our Carrie video. I think it really involves, again, kind of getting to know yourself on a deeper level. And the more that you do, I think that gives you a very solid core base for recognizing when you've maybe outgrown a identity or persona or way that you want to be in the world, and allowing yourself the flexibility and the permission to change and to grow. So this can be personally, this can be professionally, this can be on any level possible. It can be with your family, it can be in the larger community. There's so many layers of identity that humans deal with. And so I think it's the more you know yourself authentically, which again involves like going within and kind of really doing the work, you have a really strong base from which you can feel into what your next phase is, and when you've outgrown phases, because I think that's the key, is figuring out when you've outgrown it, and then having the strength to shed certain things too, because I think we get pigeonholed into things, certain identities that we think this is what's expected of us, and that's incredibly hard to let go of if it feels like it doesn't fit anymore. So what he's showing me is like it's a coat that's too small, like it just like you've worn it for a long time, somehow it's shrunk because we're not growing as adults, but it shrunk, and it's too tight and it feels gross, and maybe it's like it's hot out and you're like, why do I have this coat on? But it's the coat everybody's seen me in for like 20 years. This is what everybody expects. This coat is the bomber jacket is who I am. And it's like, but it feels icky on the inside. It's like, this is gross, it needs washing, I don't even want it anymore, it doesn't fit, it's all beat up. So he's talking about having the power and the inner power and confidence and strength to take the coat off, even when everybody around you is like, but that's what you wear the coat, what are you doing, that is your coat.
Well, yeah, actually I was gonna ask, so what if when you get your new wardrobe, certain people, your people don't like it? What do you do to make sure you don't fall back to please? Because I'm sure that's the thing, right?
Yes.
You know, you want to please those that have accepted you for the way they've seen you.
So what he just showed me was standing in front of the mirror with trying on the new outfits, and I mean, he's being a little silly with it, but it's really like getting to know yourself with the new coat or outfit, to where you're feeling comfortable. So it's really about taking the time to get everything that fits right for you and anchoring into that. And that's gonna be scary, because there are always fashion critics. We're just gonna keep going with this metaphor all the way to the end.
Make it work.
Make it work. I have been watching Project Run, really old reruns of Project Runway, so I think this is why he's going this direction. So yeah, there's gonna be fashion critics. There's gonna be people like, you've changed. Why are you doing this? Like, this is not you.
Yeah,
who do you think you are? Why are you trying to step out of whatever role you were in? And that's really scary, especially if it's your family, if it's people that you've grown up with or loved ones. But the more that you practice wearing the new outfit within yourself, and I think that means it's again about really authentically getting to know yourself and anchoring into that energy, it's going to grow from within to where you learn to withstand the fashion critiques a little bit, and it's extremely hard. And I mean, really, he's saying there's no easy answer to that question, because there's not a cut and dried like, put the new coat on and you're fine. But
I get it.
It's a process. I think it's a
long,
hard process,
which takes
it takes
a
time.
minute. Yeah, it's like the fashion week where you're walking on that runway with the shoulder pads and whatnot, and you're the real deal.
He's saying it's not so much about, what's most important is recognizing when the old coat doesn't fit. That's what he's saying. And I think that's where fear stops all of us, because it's either comfortable or safe or familiar, or it's what everybody else expects. And so we get stuck. We get stuck wearing that coat forever, that identity. And he's saying really where the strength comes from is in the very, like at the beginning of the process you're talking about, where you realize, wait, this coat doesn't even fit. That's the hardest thing to do. Once you recognize that, I think then the ball starts rolling around. Okay, I know this doesn't fit anymore. I'm ready to kind of think about taking it off, and maybe I'll get measurements for a new coat, and maybe I'll try this. Maybe I don't even want a coat. Maybe I'm doing something else.
So you can try
many different
let's
outfits.
Go with, I guess we're staying with clothes. You can
Tim, I
try.
would be so proud of
You can try many different outfits,
Yes,
right? You're not,
yes.
It's not to say you drop one
You
coat
can-
and the next coat you put on is
Is
the
permanent.
coat,
No,
right?
not by any
You
means.
can
Yeah.
call it
It's
there.
about being flexible. It's about being open and honoring what comes through, because you might actually put on a new coat, try it for a while, and be like, this doesn't fit either. I'm taking this off. So it just takes a while to, I think, to figure out. And the thing is, these outfits are always changing for us on big and small levels. Like, it's never
that's a
that you're
good
going to
point.
find the coat and be like, this is it the rest of my life, because that's not
So-
how humans are. We're flexible, we're dynamic, we're fluid. Things are always changing, things are
That's
always
right.
growing. If you did that, you would never grow and evolve as a human. So it's about being open enough to know, this coat's done, I need to take it off and look for the next one, and then stay aware, stay self-aware. You know what, this one's not fitting either, time to move on. So that's really what he's talking about, is more the self-awareness around, you're always going to need to shed the coats at different times in your life, and being willing and open to do that. And it's a brave thing, it's a very brave, scary thing to do, but it's really worth it, because
Yeah.
then you can grow.
So I would see it like, if you're looking at your photo album or on Facebook, your memories, whatever, right? It's, you see your high school self with the baggy jeans or the flannels, and then you see your college self with the skinny jeans and flannels, and then you see yourself as an adult with just a crap load of makeup and I don't know, more flannels, I guess. But, just essentially you're seeing a transition of how you were as a kid to an adult, and you notice your fashion sense changes, right?
Yes, yes.
You're not going to be stuck with the same thing forever. As I'm talking about as adults, or as fashion, I guess fashion-oriented people. We're not going to be wearing the same thing the rest of our lives. So that essentially is the same thing to our
Your identity.
soul, to our identity.
And it's not so much core identity. I mean, I think that always stays the same so that's what he's talking about, like getting to know yourself on a core level. Those kinds of traits stay, like compassion and kindness and curiosity, and all of those core traits stay. He's talking more about what you want to show to the world, how you want to be in the world, authentically. Though it's always good. Like the coat's always connected to. How do I say this? What is he showing me? It's always made out of the same material on some level, because that material is your soul energy.
So
It's just refashioned and sewn.
So it's the same. I'm sorry, what? So it's the same coat, just different designs of it. So is it?
There's traits of it.
So if we're staying with fashion, it's like having your favorite running shoe, and you buy that running shoe year after year, but the company modifies that shoe with like more cushioning or.
Yeah. Okay. So
breathable.
what he's saying. So okay.
Am I close to
What
what you're
he's
trying to say?
Yes. Well, if we take the coat, we're just gonna keep doing the coat.
I like the shoe. The shoe
Okay.
doesn't work.
Whatever.
Okay.
There are core elements that are always going to be the same, because those are your authentic soul traits. But the next coat you put on might be bedazzled, or you might cut the sleeves off, or you might add a whole new material on top and get rid of everything except for one little shred of the original bomber jacket. But there's always going to be some theme that ties all the coats together, because that's you, that's your core identity. But it's
So
the flexibility of kind of letting yourself
Yeah.
grow and change throughout your life.
Okay.
That's a very muddled. I don't think I'm bringing it through
Or
very
it's like
clearly, but
nachos, right? You always have the corn chips as the nacho, but toppings is up to you. But you'll always have the corn chips.
yes,
Okay.
sure. That's
So
yes.
just to get out of the whole clothing metaphors, let's go
He's making
nachos.
it. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
So we're always corn chips, no matter what.
Mhm. The thread that you use
Okay.
is always the same. There we go.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to get to. Sometimes it takes me a minute. All the material can change, the shape, all the cut, everything can change, but the thread is always the same. So the thread is your inner. That's what holds it all together. That's a better metaphor. That's what I was trying to get to. Sometimes it takes a minute for me to get through. Yeah, because there's going to be something that ties them all together, literally and figuratively, and that's going to be your core essence of a soul, who you are as a person on a very deep level. But all the rest can change because you're growing and changing and evolving all the time as a person, and we're supposed to. That's really what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to stay stagnant or stuck or shoved in a box and stay, never allowed to grow. So that, I think, is what he wants to talk about today. And we got it. That took me a while to get to the thread. Hopefully that made sense. This was a little less organized than our first time, but you know what? That's okay. We did it, and we got it through, and he just took a bow. So I think he's done. Took a while for him to get all that through to me because I was struggling, but I think that makes sense. Yeah?
I get it.
All right.
You guys get it?
All right. That's number 2 wrapped up. This one's
All
going to be shorter because we got to go. I realize what time it is. So we'll be back soon.
Peace.
And
All right.
hope this made sense.